Posted by you/madcat_mk3. Need advice. Fast. I first posted this in r/surviving infidelity, but moderators took it down. I don't know why. Someone suggested I share it here. Let me start by stating that I'm not a Reddit user and I don't know the protocols of posting or asking for advice here. So, I am a SF member, been on 3 tours. I have been away from states for months at a time. I got married when I was 24 years old, I am now 36. My squad is of 6 members and have been together for a while. Whenever we are in states, me and my squad get together for a barbecue almost every month. 3 days ago, we were on one of these get-together. I was with my friends at my friend's place and our wives were at my place drinking in their own get-together. We all have houses in same neighborhood near base. So after about an hour since started cooking steak, we realized the beer was still at my place, so I walked past the street to get to my place. I went around because I had to grab something from the shed and entered the back door near kitchen. That's when I hear our wives giggling. I got curious, so I heard as I was picking up beer. I heard they were talking about their affairs and how they thought their affair partners were cute and whose D was bigger and how they did it at our houses and in our cars and at their places. Giving each other advice on which hotels is better and cheaper, how to keep their burner phones hidden. When I heard all that, I almost went into shock. I was almost paralyzed. I have been shot 3 times and I can tell you it doesn't hurt as much as listening to all that. It was as if I got hit by lightning. During training we are taught to switch off our emotions, to think calmly and rationally. To not let emotions cloud our thinking. It's like flipping a switch. So, I switched off my emotions and didn't confront them, picked up beer and went to my friend's place. I just stayed quiet. My friends got worried, but I didn't say anything. I've been thinking since then. I know I am divorcing my wife. But I don't know if I should tell my friends all this. I don't know if I should hurt them anymore. We have been hurt a lot already. Please someone give me input on what I should do. Should I let them live this lie in blissful ignorance or hurt them through truth? Many have suggested that I tell them, so I will. Now on to some comments before the updates. Posted by Gerbil in my butthole. You need to gather evidence first. As then you have the ammunition you need for court. I am not nor was in the military, but I know some of my friends are and were, and infidelity can be used against the spouse, to ensure your pension is protected and she is removed from the benefits. As far as telling your friends or friend, yes, tell them, but do it as a unit, and let everyone know what you heard, so that way the surveillance can be used, and information gathered. Take care OP, but do this first, as you know I am right. OK_investigator 9547 responded with, have a VAR or other method of recording ready when you eventually confront your wife. Use specific examples from the conversation you overheard, so she knows you know. If she admits that it's all true and maybe offers more, you have that info preserved and can share with the other husbands, and eventually your attorney. Good luck. Gerbil in my butthole responded with, agreed OP, and to add to it, utilize a weekend coming up, maybe a couple out and it just came up, and tell the wives you all are leaving for the weekend, work related. Then sit back and watch and have them followed. Get the evidence, then get the divorce, and leave her with nothing. Make sure her family knows also, ruin reputations. DB Fool 2019 responded with, yes, to this. And to add, who are these APs? Are they fellow service members? If so, catching them with proof will bring heavy discipline down upon them. Posted by Hanamalu. First, thanks for your service. Sorry you find yourself in this situation. Here is what I would do. First, take care of your own house. Before confronting your wife, quietly do a bit of recon. Check her phone, email, FB Messenger, etc. If you find evidence of an affair, confront her and let her tell you what is going on. Once she confessed and you got all the information you want, tell her that you overheard the conversation between her and the other wives. Tell her that out of consideration for your friendship with their husbands you want your wife to contact them and let them know you know and that you will be telling their husbands, unless they confess on their own. If they refuse, then go ahead and let the husbands know. Deacon. Posted by Fragrant_spray. First, get evidence. You'll need it for the divorce, but also for your friends. Some of them may either not believe you or think you misunderstood the conversation. If you tip your hand by exposing first, that info will be harder to get. Phone records, phone access, email and financial records should be a good place to start. Talk with your lawyer and if you can discreetly, record all your interactions with her. In some places, this is legal, in others, it's not. This may protect you from claims of abuse. If you can trust that your friends could do the same, Keep their mouths shut and gather evidence, maybe you can tell them. If you're not sure, hold off. You will find it easier to get a divorce if you don't blow up the lives of her and her friends. Once you do, she'll likely fight you on everything out of spite. Get yourself an STD test, and DNA tests if you have kids. Come up with an exit strategy. Once you serve her, understand where you or she will go, separate financials, change all your passwords, financial, email, social media, phone code, everything. Your best option for the easiest divorce is not to expose until it's done, but it will be at the expense of not tipping off your friends, so you'll have to make that call. Don't reveal to her what you know or how you know it, just that you do. If she knows what you know, she may be able to figure out where you got your info. If she knows where you got your info, she may know what other info was exposed and what evidence she needs to cover up. If they can be trusted, maybe talk with your chain of command so they can be prepared for BS abuse allegations and other claims. You don't have to give full details, but a heads up may prevent her from spinning her lies and getting traction at work. Nitarietta Signs responded with, get yourself an STD test, and DNA tests if you have kids. Yes. Now on to update 1. Going to work. So, this is an update 1 to my story. If anyone is curious about the context of this post, please look at my previous post in my profile. Sorry for not posting for a while, but I thought I didn't want our wives to find my posts on Reddit. I didn't want to alert them that we knew. But after snooping through their browser histories and bookmarks, we discovered none of them uses Reddit. So, here's what happened. After the helpful advice I received from wonderful people of this community, I immediately contacted my CO and alerted him about what's about to happen. He just sighed and told me that he went through a similar situation and understands. He also told me that he will get us leaves to sort our lives. Then he gave me contact information for a legal firm that's absolutely best at dealing with this kind of situation. In my state, it's legal to record everything as long as it's with consent of the owner of the house or car, which is me. I rigged my home and car with a surveillance system to protect from any risk of break-in or insurance fraud, but because those situations didn't happen, I never really checked those recordings, and the old ones were just being written over. I replaced 4 x 2 TB HDDs from the house and 1 x 2 TB HDD in my car as soon as possible to save as much evidence as I could. Next thing I did was call my buddies over to a single friend's house, locked doors, took away their personal arms and basically just laid it all out. I told them everything, including the recording of the meeting our wives had. The next few hours were very hard. It started with shock and disbelief. I saw battle-hardened warriors whimper in shock like a child would be on a battlefield. Then came rage, which was even harder to deal with. My single buddy had to restrain them from going ballistic for a few hours. Then came despair. They then started to tell stories about how they saw some red flags before that they dismissed, always thinking that it's impossible, how they thought their marriage was great and that it can't possibly happen to me. But now all dots were starting to connect. Some of the stories I heard were truly terrifying and heartbreaking. My friend with a 6-year-old son also told me about how his son looks different and is worried that he might not actually be his biological son. That one truly hurt. That day all we had was each other to hang on, and we had each other's backs like always. My buddy went into his cellar and brought a case of some really good liquor that day we needed it, so we all got blackout drunk and passed out. Next day when we woke up, we made breakfast, took some meds for hangover, and as soon as we got better, I saw the switch flip for all of my buddies. All expressions left their face. It's like we were out there surrounded by hostiles. We gathered and I explained my plan, how I wanted to unleash Armageddon upon those that hurt us so bad. And they all immediately agreed that this would be our best course of action. So, our action plan went like this. 1. Assume full poker face, go full undercover. 2. Gather all data storage devices from our homes. And quietly replace them. 3. 2 of us would then sift through all the data and compile detailed analysis at my buddy's home. 4. Snoop around for WW's laptops and cell phones and install spyware on them. 5. Get tracker data for last year from the tracker company. 6. Get bank statements and credit card reports. 7. Get in touch with Base Legal and inform them about our situation and get advice on what that means for our pensions, etc. 8. Meet lawyers from legal firms and retain them as soon as possible and tell them to prepare papers as fast as possible. 9. 2 of us would find and stalk our WWs to get information about their APs. 10. Research on how to go nuclear without burning ourselves. Reddit helps a lot. 11. Research WW's possible reactions to all these things like gaslighting, blame shifting, excuses etc. and compile a detailed report on their possible responses and our replies. 12. Prepare all gathered evidence into well-detailed info bomb. 13. Separate our finances discreetly and swiftly just before confrontation. 14. Prepare an ambush. 15. Unleash kaboom of doom and watch the fallout. 16. Go full NC with our WWs as soon as fallout starts. 17. Get to therapy, thankfully VA can cover that. 18. Meet up, get hammered to celebrate and grieve our destroyed lives. So, we set up an empty room in my friend's home and made it our fob and went to work. We contacted the legal team and showed them all the data we had, and they told us this data is airtight and asked if we wanted a quiet and amicable divorce or scorched earth policy. We of course decided scorched earth policy. Our houses were owned by us completely and were private property, and we had them since before we were married, so other than some furniture that wasn't the issue. Because D papers were being filed under adultery charges, our retirement funds and pension were also protected. On our lawyer's suggestion, we should talk 50% of all shared accounts and transfer them to our personal accounts before serving them papers. And also, if we could gather evidence against their APs, we could sue them for alienation of affection charges. We agreed. So, they gave us contact info of some P.s who worked for them in the past. Our lawyers are sharks, experienced sharks. My lawyer explained that she has seen this kind of thing before in military marriages, and it unfortunately runs rampant in military spouses. She said she is heartbroken about what we were going through because she was also a victim of infidelity. And has no mercy for cheaters. They have prepared papers in a week, they work fast. She told me if we decide to expose WWs completely to everyone, including their workplaces, they are likely to lose their jobs and we will have to pay temporary alimony until they can get gainful employment. Small price to pay for what they have done. Because of a military checkpoint near our house due to its close proximity with the base, we put in the request for data of particular vehicles and people that were suspected of as APs through our CO. He's awesome. We then correlated all the data from GPS trackers on our wives' cars, the frequency of APs visits, their dates, as well as video and audio evidence from our homes and cars, and positively identified all APs. My STBX, I believe is the correct term, has had 3 APs during the course of our marriage. We have also compiled all their emails and text messages. I felt sick and threw up watching what they were doing in our marital home. It was so psychologically scarring that it felt like I was falling in a black hole, with no hope of returning. It felt as if I lost all will to live. Even after all me and my brothers went through this was the first time, we had suicidal thoughts. But every time one of us fell into depression, others would rush to his aid. We literally kept each other floating in this hellish ocean of despair. After we discovered who APs were, where they lived and what they did, we hired PIs and sent them to investigate those APs. Apparently, all of them are wives' co-workers in some capacity and are married with children. Monsters. So that's where we are right now. Preparing and arming ourselves. These days I feel like I am in a constant emotionless state. I am faking every smile, every laugh, and can barely keep myself from vomiting every time I hear "I love you" from her. I physically recoil every time she wants to cuddle, but I have to endure. Every time she is near me, a maelstrom starts in my head. I know, as fed up as it is, I still love her. But I guess I will have to overcome it somehow. Now on to some comments. Posted by Notarietta Signs. I, for one, hope this isn't fake, not because I relish the pain of others, but because I want desperately to watch people be strong and do what's right. ErgFS Face responded with, "Do you truly believe someone who has been in the U.S. military special forces for 15 years, as OP claims, spells prepare as prepare? This is very clearly a fake story. Don't embarrass yourself." OP responded with, "Believe it or not, even people in SF can make typos, and my heart pumps piss for trolls who think other people's pain is fake." ErgFS Face responded with, "Writing prepare instead of prepare is not a typo. There are loads of other basic English mistakes, such as giving advices, writing neighborhood instead of neighborhood, etc. Get a better American English translation program next time. I despise people who fake this trauma for attention, so I guess we're even." BTW, wiretapping is against federal law, it doesn't vary state by state. I'll send this over to the SF and let them know one of their soldiers is proudly violating federal law. Oh, wait. Posted by Nosy 212. FFS. I know many guys in the forces and every single one of them freaks around on their wives when posted. OP responded with, "Not all of us do this shit, we do get a lot of opportunity though. I have been all over the planet, on almost all continents, but I have never even once entertained the idea of cheating. Frankly, the very concept of it disgusts me." Posted by Starson420. So, your CO gave you access to the video feed and records of a restricted gate so you could find out who your wife was banging? Sure all of you own your own homes in the state you're in? Right? All of you have excess leave to burn off that could be given within a day? What? You all passed out and missed PT in the morning? Yeah, no one noticed a whole squad missing and said nothing? Do you only watch military shows because this isn't how the military works? It's a good read but clearly fake. OP responded with, "I can't believe I have to explain all this. Between deployments and after deployments we get some free time where we are basically don't have to report in because we are not officially on duty, it's basically R&R. When we are on standby but on duty then we have to do all those things. Secondly, we don't live on the base, so security systems are all our personal stuff, we all install them in our homes as we please. It's a gated community but we are allowed to install any security system on our personal property as we please. Thirdly, it's a gated community very near our base but it's civilian area and we can get security footage if we request it on a reasonable suspicion. Also, please find a better use of your time than to troll other people." Now on to update 2. It finally happened. If you want the context of this post, please check my previous posts. Thank you for all your support and kindness. It was very encouraging to see that there are people out there who have walked through the hell we are currently in and came out the other side with their dignity intact. So many people DM me and give me strength to keep fighting and have my brother's back. So, it happened. 2 days ago, was when we unleashed Armageddon. For all 6 of us, things happened differently, some very dramatic, some less so. As for me, it wasn't very dramatic. Maybe it's because of how I approached it. 3 days before we pushed the red button, I called my mom and told them I was coming to visit, and we will visit STBXW's parents. They live about a 4-hour drive away, in the same community. We visit them for a few days every time I come back to the States. Both of our parents are old school, very religious and conservative, but they are all very loving and kind people. We contacted many of OBS before we were going to do this. Our original plan was to present D papers to both our WWs and their APs on the same day, but we realized it was getting extremely dangerous. If even one OBS slips up, our WWs will get alerted and that will give them time to craft excuses and strategies for attack. We needed to blindside them to make sure that didn't happen. So, we stopped after alerting 3 OBS. In that time my STBX started acting suspiciously. She started acting more and more attentive, flirty and romantic, so I thought she started suspecting something was up. I did my best to keep my cover and reciprocated, but I had to essentially K myself emotionally every hour. I still can't believe how hard it is to lie to her, to lie to someone you love, and she did it so easily. We recruited some of our other friends to take the data and go to contact the remaining OBS and our WW's parents on the day this was going to happen. We created a WhatsApp group for coordinating everyone. Anyway, a day before the confrontation I took my STBX to a friend's place which is about 3 miles away and received a fake phone call by my friend. I told her to wait here for a while. I have to go meet my CO about something, I will be back in a few hours. I told her to enjoy time with her girlfriends for a while. I then rushed home where a friend of mine was waiting with a pickup truck. I already cataloged all of her stuff, clothes, electronics etc. I packed up all her stuff in pre-made boxes and loaded the truck. I did this as fast as I possibly could. In about 2 hours I was done. Then I went back to my friend's place to pick up STBX and gave my friend thumbs up. I then drove in my car with my STBX and my other friend with truck followed us at about 1 hour distance. We got to her parents' house at about 1500. And my mom arrived at about 1700. We greeted them, hung out and played with her sister's children. My friend was just waiting in a restaurant nearby and waiting for my signal. At 2100 we had a lovely dinner, and everyone just started chatting. I messaged my friend with a thumbs up emoji, and I said in a loud voice I have an announcement to make. I asked my ex-Sil to take the children upstairs, then I told everyone to please sit down and stay quiet until I stopped talking. This scared my STBX because she was shrinking in size. I think she knew what was coming next. But at this point I had already made up my mind. I got calm, took a deep breath, collected myself and laid it all out there. I told them all about STBXW's affair and showed printouts of all the evidence I have collected on this affair. I told them to only see if they don't believe me and want to confirm it. It's a lot. Everyone was just stunned and silent, they didn't know what to say. I then told them I also have voice recordings, message chains, emails, videos and pictures. I also have information on all of the APs, who they are, where they work, where they live, who their OBS are and what they do. I have all of their information printed out in this file, if they want to review and confirm it. My STBX shrunk 3 sizes by this point and look of utter shock and terror was on her face. I then told them that I cannot and will not continue in a relationship without trust, respect and love, and my WW's actions conclusively prove that she cannot give it to me. I then presented D papers. I told them I will not be going through any legal separation as it is pointless exercise. Listening to this, my STBX started mumbling, no, 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 please please no don't. I said I didn't expose them to any of our mutual friends, or to her work. But please don't make false narratives to them about our situation or I will tell them the truth with evidence. I then said my house is mine, in my name pre-marriage, and our finances are already separated due to nature of our jobs, and I have also withdrawn half of my money from any shared accounts we had. I then told her since she has her decent job there will be no spousal support or alimony, and I would prefer we keep this out of court and do this ourselves. I then said please email me on which furniture she would like, as I would let her have half of them, and that I have also brought all of her clothes and stuff from my house boxed up and, in a truck, outside. Stuff I will be leaving here. At this point I couldn't hold it in any longer and my eyes started tearing up and few tears dripped down on my cheek. Then I just fell silent. Everyone was just stunned and silent. It's like they were frozen in place or something. Soon my STBX just started wailing and crying nonstop and I just closed my eyes and stood there silently. Soon Xil grabbed STBX by arms and took her to another room. My mom walked up to me and hugged me. She, Mom, has been my support in the darkest days of my life. I then walked up to my Phil and Mill and softly said I am sorry, I couldn't protect your daughter. My Phil stood up and hugged me while Mill was just crying. Phil shook my hand and said I know you did your best, please keep in contact with us at least for a while. At this I said okay in a soft tone and took my mom with me and walked out. My friend was already unloading the truck at this point on their front porch. I helped him and once done I looked at the house and Phil was standing in the doorway. I said please email me if there is something missing and she needs it. He said okay. Me, my mom and my friend then just left in our vehicles. I think I will have to give her the car because she will need it to commute for her job. I already have a bike so it's okay. I will probably buy a truck too. I have been thinking about the Ford F-150. My mom offered me to stay at her place or she will come to my home for support for some time, but I told her I will probably need some time alone to think on things and grieve properly. I also told her not to worry, I have my brothers. She said okay but made me promise to call her every day and tell me how my day is going. After I got home, I broke down. For the first time since it all began, I truly broke down. It's a pain unlike any other, no words or phrases can describe it. This day all of my buddies confronted their WWs, and each has their own interesting story. Each filled with pain and hurt. All of the known OBS have also been informed and 2 OBS whose families moved out of state have also been emailed with all the relevant data. Next day me and my buddies got together and just sat in silence for a few minutes then broke down and cried. We then talked about what happened, how we handled the D-Day and exposure, but that's what surprised me. They told me context was different for each of them, but their WWs made excuses like I can explain this blah blah blah. They even threw each other under the bus blaming each other for their actions, but my STBX never did that. She just stayed quiet. Anyway, we just stopped talking about them and distracted ourselves with other things. It's been 2 days since then and my STBX has been blowing up my phone and email. She is apologizing endlessly but I haven't replied, I just ignore them. These 2 days have been very difficult. I can barely breathe, I can't stay at home, every time I enter the house it feels like the walls are closing down on me, so I just spend most of my day outside, with my buddies. I am thinking of putting in a request for early deployment with my CO. I just want to go away and spend time away from here for a while, but after I get the D papers signed and filed in court. Well, that's where we are now. It hurts beyond madness. I am thinking of going on a vacation with my buddies for a while just to distract ourselves for a while. Now on to some comments. Posted by GR8 Gower. My only advice is to not go to vacation with same buddies, cause entire vacation will be spent discussing the catastrophe that happened. Either wait a few weeks, or rather go with family. OP responded with, yeah, I agree, it will take time, we just have to cover each other's six for now. And support after the filing is officially done, then we will go on a vacation for a while. With our families, we have been discussing a cruise or something, all 6 families together. Posted by Fixed Glass. Do not go back 2. Her. When it crosses your mind, etc., which it will, do not. Right now, you have self-respect, and the power in self-respect is an immense amount of power. People often don't realize it because they hurt from the break. But leaving her and staying gone is going to translate to success with other women in life. Good for you, best of luck. Do not go back. You will lose your self-respect, and that will get you through all of this. OP responded with, never again. Posted by specialist_2_138. She remained silent as she was at her parents' house. If you were alone, you would get the same reactions as the other WWs. Mistake, she didn't want, she encouraged friends, you were away and her alone. WWs never say they are not suitable for monogamy. OP responded with, that's exactly why I did what I did. I presented it all in presence of both of our families. Posted by cnegotiations8309. My advice is that you go on vacation, even a place like the beach where you can meet new people in a short succession of time, and you cannot sink into your thoughts if you go to an isolated place alone. You can only think about it instead if you go to crowded places where you can do multiple things. Your mind will stay busy, and when you return from vacation you will be relaxed and calm, and once that is done, go to therapy to reorganize your ideas and thoughts. Posted by Interesting Maximum 39. I find myself curious about how your brother's stories went. I think you handled the exposure very well. Was it similar for the others? I understand differing levels of drama, but I'm curious how. I'm also a bit worried about the brother with a child. Please don't rush to post. Take time for yourself. Just wanted to ask. OP responded with, well, yeah. Some of them had serious drama. Their STBX started gaslighting, blaming, screaming, and literally throwing each other under the bus, trying to shift blame on each other. It was ugly. Interesting Maximum 59 responded with, they were in a group? OP responded with, yup, basically, hey, our group of cheaters enabling each other. It's the sickest thing I ever saw.